Welcome back to Snatwist. Today forget everything you know about basic detective tropes. Throw away the standard whodunit formulas where the good guys catch the bad guy and everyone goes home happy. This series we are analyzing today doesn't just hold you in suspense, it drags you straight into the darkest corners of the human psyche. This is the absolute masterpiece beyond the evil. On the surface, Manyang is a quiet, peaceful town where everybody knows everybody, but beneath this tight-knit community lies a 20-year-old nightmare. 2 decades ago, a ruthless predator terrorized these streets, targeting innocent women, vanishing without a trace and leaving only their severed fingertips behind. Now, after 20 years of silence, the nightmare is waking up. Let's meet the main players in this twisted game. First, we have Lee Dong-sik, played by the absolute acting powerhouse, Shin Ha-kyun. Dong-si is a low-key cop who seems completely unbothered by rules, often acting like an unstable madman. But when you look into his past, you realize he is a walking corpse. 20 years ago, when the killer took his twin sister, the entire town suspected him. That frustrating, creepy laugh of his, it is not madness. It is a brutal, agonizing mask worn to hide a soul that has been burning in hell for 2 decades. On the flip side enters Han Ju-won, brought to life by the incredibly talented Yo Jin-gu. Ju-won is an elite, high-ranking detective from the wealth upper class. He is fiercely ambitious, a massive germaphobe who refuses to touch anything without his gloves, and his transfer to this small town is no accident. He has a hidden agenda. And the moment he steps into Manyang, who is his number one suspect? His new partner, Lee Dong-sik. But the town is filled with other complex phases. Meet Kang Jin-mook, played with incredible nuance by Lee Kyu-ho. He is the town's sweet, stuttering grocery store owner. He seems so helpless and innocent that the entire neighborhood protects him like a child. He has a beautiful, vibrant daughter named Min-jang, played by Choi Sang-in. Min-jang is the life of the town, loved by everyone, and Dong-sik treats her like his own flesh and blood. It's the friction, the hidden ties, and the psychological mind games between these characters that make this show a work of art. If you haven't watched it yet, go do it right now, because from this point on, we are diving into the pitch-black, spoiler-heavy depths of the real monster. Please subscribe to support our channel. Let's drop the masks. The first massive punch to do that this show delivers is the identity of the killer. The monster who spent 20 years hunting young women and terrorizing the town was none other than the pathetic, stuttering shopkeeper Kang Jin-mook. The absolute horror is that this man was such a remorseless psychopath, he didn't even hesitate to butcher his own daughter, Min-jang. While we were losing our minds trying to figure out who the kill was, he was standing behind his counter, calmly selling groceries to the victims' families. But look at his motive. Why only woman? And why the fingertips? Jin-mook suffered from a pathetic inferiority complex. Years ago, his wife despised his weakness and stuttering, mocked him constantly, and eventually abandoned him and their baby daughter. That rejection broke something in his sick mind. From that day on, he targeted women who reminded him of his wife, or everyone he felt looked down on him. He severed their fingertips out of pure psychopathy, making sure they could never run away, never open on a door, and never claw their way back to safety. Remember the heartbreaking supermarket scene? The night Min-jang went missing, she was sitting in the store, playfully painting her nails with highly specific, colorful patterns. Dong-sik watched her like a proud uncle, and those patterns were burned into his memory. So, when he wakes up to the story the next morning and sees 10 severed fingertips neatly lined up, recognizes the nail at instantly. His world shatters. But Dong-sik knows the corrupt legal system. He knows that without concrete forensic evidence, this pathetic acting monster will walk free. So, Dong-sik makes a terrifying, unhinged choice. He picks up Manyang's fingers, carries them to the front of the market, and neatly displays them for public to find. He manually uses the remains of the girl he loved like a deadly albatross to create a massive media scandal, forcing the elite detective Juvon and the entire police force into a corner where they cannot bury the case. To trap a monster, Dong-sik willingly burns his own soul. But here is the most staggering twist of the entire series. Ji-mook did not kill Dong-sik's sister, Yoo-yeon. Let's break down the horrifying chronological chain of events of that night 20 years ago. Ji-mook kidnaps Yoo-yeon and cuts off her fingertips, but because he is physically weak and clumsy, Yoo-yeon fights back, escapes his grasp, and runs out onto the dark, foggy road. Dong-sik's best friend, Park Jong-jae, was actually in secret romantic relationship with Yoo-yeon, and massive pressure from his powerful mother who opposed them. Jong-jae was driving that night in a state of severe psychological distress. In the blinding fog, he accidentally strikes Yoo-yeon, his own secret lover. Terrified and broken, he flees this scene, carrying a double layer of agonizing guilt for 20 years. But Yoo-yeon is still alive, crawling on the asphalt begging for help. Another car approaches. Behind the wheel is Han Jo-won's prestigious father, the future nation police commissioner Han Gi-won. He is intoxicated. He sees the girl, realizes she is alive and can identify him. And to save his brilliant political career, he puts the car in reverse, intentionally drives over her body a second time, and crushes the life out of her. Finally, Ji-mook finds her completely lifeless body on the road and hides it. The ultimate irony, one monster clipped her wings, his best friend broke her body, and the chief of police took her final breath. And the horror escalates. While hunting for his sister's body, Dong-sik forces an excavation on a massive plot of land, a reed field owned by a powerful, corrupt assembly woman who was aggressively trying to cover it up for a multi-million-dollar real estate development project. As the excavators dig into the mud, Manyang's darkest secret is unearthed. The mud yields dozens of skeletons of missing women killed by Ji-mook over the last 20 years. They were all buried in the exact same field. And that greedy assemblywoman, she knew there was something deeply wrong with that land, but she willfully turned a blind eye and suppressed any suspicious reports just to protect her financial investments and political power. They allowed a serial killer to keep hunting just to protect their wallet. Even after finding a graveyard of women in the reed field, Yoo-yeon wasn't there because the final cruelest stroke of fate was waiting at home. For 20 agonizing years, Dong-sik traveled across the country checking every unidentified corpse, praying to find his sister. But she was right there, hidden inside the brick wall of the boiler room, directly underneath the floorboards of his own house. For 20 years, he slept, ate, and wept in that house, completely unaware that his sister's bones were trapped just a few feet beneath his steps. The system's high-level monsters didn't just kill her, they entombed her in the very foundation of his life to watch him suffer. Dong-sik clutching Kov's bones is not just a scene. It is the sound of a man's soul permanently fracturing after 20 years of psychological torture. Beyond the evil is a haunting reminder that the most terrifying monsters don't live in the shadows. They wear tailored suits, badges, and innocent smiles. To fight them, do you have to become a monster yourself? Let me know your thoughts on this incredible psychological breakdown in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Snit Twist for more deep cinematic breakdowns, and I'll see you in the next twist. Stay sharp.